They've all loved it. They're pulling big shapes. Oh, this is brilliant. I'm on the floor like that. Oh, God, let it end.
So I have the main My Dying Bride man with me. Aaron, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good, very good.
Good.
Yeah. Slowly but surely making it way through January.
Yeah, it's one of those months, isn't it? In fact, today, apparently, I saw the news before I set off from Yorkshire down to London. That is officially the most depressing day of the year. It's quite fitting for My Dying Bride to arrive in the capital on this day. It's doom and gloom, and it suits us down to the ground.
What was it that kind of made you want to strive for, like, we're ready to come back and this is our time?
I'm not sure I was ready to come back. The rest of the guys were, but I was still a little bit on the fence about returning. And the rest of the band had done their bits. They'd recorded the album, and I knew things were progressing without me. And I knew at some point someone would come knocking on the door saying, I know we said there wasn't a deadline, but we could do with some movement. And I was like, all right, well, fair enough, because I need to snap out of this, this melancholy. And I needed that kick up the backside, because otherwise I don't think I would have come back. So the rest of the band had taken My Dying Bride and moved up a notch, and I hadn't yet. So when I went into the studio, I just did all the usual stuff. And Andrew and Mark Minot, the new producer engineer, were sort of looking at each other thinking, well, it's all right. How do you say to someone who's been doing it for nearly 30 years, it's all right, but can we have a little bit? Slowly but surely I realised you can't do this anymore. You can't keep doing what you've been doing. Everybody's up the ante. You need to up the ante too, or you're getting left behind. Mark wanted to double track and triple track the vocals, so it was like a choir. He wanted a very rich orchestral sound. And I'm thinking, okay, I've done double tracking before, but not triple and quadruple and all the rest of it. So he'd have the first line. He'd say, right, sing that in this particular octave, and he'd play the notes on a piano, and I'd do it like that. And he'd be like, okay, great. Let's just do it one more time. Let's just do it again. It's like, 20 times later, he's like, brilliant, you've got it. When we finished the final song, the relief was just, oh my God, it's like running a marathon backwards, blindfolded.
So I wanted to kind of, obviously with the trials and tribulations that you've been through and everything, has it changed your outlook on life itself?
Oh, yeah, I would, like most people who live in the West, silly Western problems like you can't get a USB in the fucking thing, and your printer's run out of ink, and it's, you're pulling your hair out. Someone cuts you up on the road, you'll be like, hey, fucking wanker. And I've realised that is trivial shit. I've been on the edge of proper darkness, and I've realised, don't worry about if your button pops off your shirt. Some people get in a rage, and it's like, don't worry about it. It's a button on a shirt. No one gives a toss. So I've changed. I'm much more mellow. I'm a different man than I was 5 years ago. And I think I'm a much more calm and relaxed person. And I'm just a bit more empathetic with people. There's a song called Tired of Tears, which is a direct influence from what I went through. But I didn't want to fill the album with my experience, because it would have been, I think, overkill. It would have been too much. It would have just been overwhelmingly awful, I think. And then I'd be like, right, I'm never playing a live song off any of this album, because it's all too...
It's too much.
Yeah. So... And again, you can't record an album and then decide you're not playing any of it live. So I needed to get something out. So I did Tired of Tears, which we'll never play live. And on the next album, there'll be something from my experience here, and there'll be a dark little song, which we'll never play live. And on the next album, it'll be a similar thing. I just didn't want to fill it all with the same experience, because I would have thrown the album out the window, and it would be like my black album.
Yeah,
don't want to ever hear a song off that album.
It's 30 years, I think, this year. Yeah. So, over the years, what would you say My Dying Bride now means to you? Because I'm sure it's changed quite a lot over the years.
When I joined Facebook, it was only sort of middle of 2019, I think, so a real late comer. Everyone else is leaving for other platforms, but I joined in. I was then getting feedback directly to me from the people who were paying for our records, and they're the people who count most. The feedback they give you is astonishing, and you realise, wow, I hoped that the things we were doing meant something to someone, but it's difficult to find out if that's true. But just glancing through it all, you just think, are they talking about us? Is this what we do to people? Is this the impact we've had on them? And when you go to bed at night, you sort of sit there and you think, I didn't realise it meant that much.
Yeah.
But it does mean that much. It really does mean that much. But when they're sending you emotional stories about how the band has helped them through tough times, you think, really? I always tell people, if you're feeling a little bit low and depressed, you've got to get creative. You've got to turn it around. If there's some stuff up here that's not good, get it out. I do paintings. I write poetry. I write short stories. I write lyrics for My Dying Bride. And it's all gushing out of me. And then I'm left feeling elated. And because you're like that. Depression is a physical thing as well. You can almost feel yourself becoming tense and bent and without knowing it. And people who haven't seen you for a long time will look at you and go, are you all right?
Yeah.
And when I've written, when I've had an outpouring of this, you can feel yourself growing lighter again and expanding like a tree in summertime. I need My Dying Bride, and My Dying Bride will always continue for me while I have this need to do it. And so for people say, did you expect to be going for 30 years? Not really, but if the band had split up, I'd be doing something else to put this negative energy into.
Well, yeah, it sort of touches upon what you were saying just then about the fans. But what do you think? I feel like My Dying Bride fans have such intense experiences with the music. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they know that when I write the lyrics, I'm in a fucking messy place. And when I have to play live, and I really don't like playing live at all, because I know what's coming. And standing in front of thousands of people is hard enough anyway. When you know that the first song you have to sing, the character in that song is going to have a really tough time. Because it's me when I was having a really tough time. So you've got to relive that moment when you were really down in the dumps. And some people think it's a bit of a performance. I didn't realise that. It's just me reliving that moment. Because the people who inspired me were like Messiah from Candlemas and Tom Warrior from Celtic Frost. And I've seen them live. And they're just belting out the songs in a rock and roll heavy metal style. And when I was younger, I thought, I want to do what they're doing. So we formed My Dying Bride. First time I went on stage, it was meltdown. Really? I'm on my hands and knees going, the nerves. And the character I'd become was totally unexpected. It was like I'd become possessed. And I can't shake it. And that's why I hate going on stage. And like a couple of hours before a gig, I start getting super nervous because I know I'm going to have to relive some pretty shitty moments for about an hour and a half in front of thousands of people I don't even know.
They've all loved it. They're pulling big shapes. This is brilliant. I'm on the floor like that. Oh, God, let it end.
And when it's over, it's like someone's lifted a huge weight off me. And I've staggered back to my feet. And I'm looking around. I'm covered in... The stage is always filthy. I've cut myself and I'm covered in mud and I've got a hole in my trousers and it's like... People look and say, what the fuck have you been doing? I've just done a gig.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Well, it's great to have you back and thank you so much for having a chat.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming down.